Girls, do you ever look back at a photo and instead of feeling the joy in the moment, you start picking yourself apart? You're judging, you're criticizing, telling yourself you're not good enough, not beautiful enough. And just like that, the happiness that you felt disappears. Because I caught myself doing that exact same thing recently. An incredible moment, completely overshadowed by self judgment. And it made me realize how deeply this pattern can impact our lives and not just how we see ourselves, but it impacts our energy, it impacts our confidence and our ability to fully receive joy in our lives. So, in this episode, I want to open up about that moment, about what it revealed, and the decision that I made to no longer let this pattern run my life, because you deserve to feel the happiness in your life. You deserve not to tear yourself down in the moments and actually see yourself in it. So I want to take you through the spiritual tools and practices that I use to help shift this in real time and to help move you from that place of self-criticism into self-acceptance, compassion, and love. Hi, my beautiful friends. I am so excited to share with you today. As always, I always speak from the heart and share what's been coming up for me and or my community, because I know that I have to share it on the podcast just to kind of help you guys, support you guys off the mat. And I'm about to go to Bali in less than 10 days. I've just come back from a trip to 1770 up with my husband and a whole heap of other families. We took our jet skis up. We skied over to Lady Musgrave Island. I'll share all about that in another lot of insight that I'll share in another podcast episode. But I know when I am about to go to Bali. I've got this quick turnaround, just come back from Lady Musgrave 2 weeks, and then I'm off to Bali. And just before I went to Lady Musgrave, I did my Reiki level 2 attunement. And I know that right before I'm about to go to Bali, I've seen this pattern start to play out. Revelations come up for me, challenges or just observations or awareness of things that are happening within myself or around my life, whether it's through a business owner or as a mother or as just a woman, as a partner, health and wellness, the way I see myself, or, money, abundance. Things kind of have this little bit of stirring that come up for me just before I'm about to go to Bali. Every single time it's like, Lise, this is what you need to work on. Then I go to Bali, and even though I'm there to serve and give to my community, I always find healing in the spiritual cleansing ceremonies that we go to, riding bikes out in the villages through the rice fields, out in nature, like the pyramids of cheese sounds healing, just being in this sacred villa that we go to. And when I step up as a retreat facilitator and leader and host and getting amongst the beautiful Balinese people, things always have a way of shifting, of healing, of releasing. It's like I kind of embody this healing energy, this beautiful spiritual cleansing and healing energy, shift something, maybe leave it behind in Bali or at the spiritual cleansing waterfalls, and then come home going into this new chapter. So it's like, because I'm going at the moment every 6 months, so it's like every 6 months I get a reset. And what I want to share with you is what came up for me this morning, and something that I didn't even realize that I do. And I had a bit of a revelation around it. And I'm like, more women go through this too. I need to share it with you guys. And I just come back from 1770, had my Reiki level 2 training, and I was sitting in meditation this morning. Some mornings I will do a meditation. Some mornings I'm at the studio and I just put on some beautiful mindful yoga music or my vibrational playlist when I'm driving to the studio, and I just kind of connect in with myself that way. Some mornings I just have a mindful cuppa on raw cacao cuppa on my deck. Some mornings I journal. Some mornings I pull cards. Some mornings I just do nothing, and I just sit out there just for, even if I only got 10 minutes, just sit out there, connect with the morning Mother Earth, listening to the birds, listening to nature, rain, whatever's going on in the elements at that time. But I take some time for me to connect in every single morning, even if I'm going to work, up at 3:30, getting ready and going to work. Like I said, I'll put on that nice playlist and not the radio, not noise, and just connect in with myself through the feeling of gratitude, for the feeling of peacefulness, So I'm in my best energetic state for me, for my family, and for my community when I go into class. It's just something I've done for a very, very long time. And so this morning, I just have had this feeling, at least you need to do a meditation. So I go, okay, and I had a feeling to pull some oracle cards and pulled the cards out, laid them out, hadn't read them yet. And then I just had this urge to, I was reminiscing about my Reiki level 2 training. I remembered Sammy, my Reiki master, who owns this beautiful elevation retreat space. She did a reel and she put this reel up, tagged me in it, and so marked me as a collaborator so it comes up on my page. And I just felt a bit of a calling to just a bit of a nudge to look at that reel again, right? So I pulled out the reel and I just had a look at it, and it's only like a quick reel, and it's basically of me. She's saging me, like I hug her when I walk in. She had a phone set up. I didn't realize but she knows I'm fine with sharing things, so that's okay. I walked in, hugged her. This was out in nature, so out under this beautiful big tree that she's got. She saged me, and then she asked my permission if she could do a little bit of filming when just before we were about to go into the Reiki, and she just kind of filmed me laying on the bed and just this beautiful setting out in nature. And when she first put the reel up a couple of weeks back before I went to 1770, I remember looking at the reel and I remember thinking to myself, this is what we all do, girls. Like, I remember thinking to myself, obviously how beautiful the day was, but also I remember thinking, oh my goodness, like the angle, like when I'm laying on the bed, my face looks a bit fat, or my hair was kind of, she pulled it back, like, so it was kind of, I'm laying on the bed, she's pulled it all back and it's dripping, like kind of this spilling over the end of the bed. And I'm looking at, as she's filmed over, going, I look like a boy, like all these things are going through my head. And like, because we instantly judge, we criticize, we look at all the faults, right? Then that was my first reaction when she put it up a couple of weeks back. Then this morning, I've pulled it out and I've just looked at it with new eyes, and I've looked at it. I remembered the moment. I remembered how beautiful it was, how immersed I was in receiving the energy of the Reiki attunement, being out under her beautiful tree, out in this gorgeous property, listening to the birds, hearing the kookaburras, just everything was just so spectacular. And another thing that I felt when I first saw the reel, it was kind of, I guess, the first thing that had gone up on my social media, because a lot of what I share would be like, in the studio, maybe me around sharing things, talking things, podcasting clips, studio clips of, videos of us doing exercise and stuff. And I hadn't really put anything up on my reel that was on my social media that was very deep spiritual, like basically a picture of what I was actually doing. So my first thought was, when she's got me set up like this, was some of my family or friends who've known me for a long time who are not into this, let's just say not into this stuff. And then I thought, oh my gosh, like, what if they'll see that side of me? And so my kind of, I guess those fears kicked in, or those thoughts kicked in around what will they think? Like, it's kind of a real different version of me that I share with you guys, I share with my community, I share with my immediate family and my close friends, but I keep it a bit sacred, I keep it a bit private. I don't kind of post or share a lot about that out on my, or talk about it a lot with extended family, extended friends who aren't really into it, okay? So I keep that a little bit private. And then when that's up there on my reel, my first thought was, after I criticized myself, was, what are those people gonna think who are not into the spiritual work, the spiritual healing realm at all? What are they gonna think? So all of that started going through my head, right? And then I looked at it this morning, pulled out the reel again, looked at it this morning, and all I saw was just such beauty and just such grace and such love for Sammy, the Reiki master, and such love for what was happening, such love for what I'm about to share. And I know that before I go to Bali, I had to, I guess, look at myself in that little bit of a light and go, Lise, for you to go into that next version, like this is what you want to bring into your community a lot more of. This is what you already do, but you do it in your kind of safe little container, but you don't share it. And if you want to expand your brand, if you want to expand your offerings, if you want to expand you as a business owner, you as a woman, you as a person, you and what you're here to do in the world, you have got to stop worrying about that stuff. And that was what was coming up, going, I really need to let that go before I go to Bali. So this is coming up for me to release and to heal and to move through. So that was the first thing that come up. The other thing I noticed when I come back, which will relate a lot more to you guys as well, was I noticed that some photos from 1770, that week, I was completely immersed in presence. I was completely immersed in the now. Had the most amazing time. We spent a lot of the time, we took our skis up. We had this amazing adventure, which I've since learned that not a lot of people do. Take the skis and ride 2 hours out through the middle of the ocean over to Lady Musgrave Island. It was just spectacular. We snorkeled over there. We had a beautiful day. We rode bikes around, like we literally parked our car. The only time that we got in the car was to drive it to the boat ramp and one day four-wheel driving. Other than that, we rode bikes everywhere. We snorkeled, we bushwalked, we walked on, took sunrise beach walks. We were just literally immersed in nature the whole time. I had the most beautiful experience. And I would, there was like five families of us, and we would jump on bikes in the afternoon. We would kind of stayed right in between 1770 and Agnes Waters, and our friends said, we're just going to ride everywhere. And we're like, that's great. So we would ride. I had on, like, I remember this one day, I had on this beautiful like white flowing skirt and just a nice little halter and thongs or sandals, and jumped on the bikes and rode down, just feeling I had like my beach hat on, the wind, the breeze was blowing. It was late afternoon and we're riding down for sunset and some cocktails down by the water with our friends. And I just felt just so gorgeous, lovely, peaceful, just so immersed in the moment. And then I pulled up with one of my friends, and we've taken a selfie by the water as the sun was kind of, really pretty along the sky. And in that moment, after she took it, we've kind of looked back. I went to share one and I went, oh my gosh, I look awful. When I actually took the selfie, so my arms are shorter. So I'm like, she looks great. Same back there. I look fat. I look like my face looks huge. I've got like, you kind of pick on everything about yourself. So then I've gone from that moment of feeling like amazing to then judging and criticizing on myself. Another moment, and I'll share with you the whole point of this, okay? Another moment, we were out skiing on Lady Musgrave Island. It was just so beautiful. We literally were floating, like we had our jet skis. We pulled up to the island, walked around the island. There's nothing there. It's just a tiny little island. It's just gorgeous. And then we kind of rode the skis out, maybe 100 meters off the beach, anchored them all, had this big chain of jet skis lying up. And we were just in our togs. Boys maybe having a beer on the ski in between snorkeling, and we would just chuck on our snorkeling gear, flippers, snorkel goggles and that, and just jump off the ski and go snorkeling around. We did this for hours and just jump back on the ski, have a chat, maybe go to another place, have a bite to eat. Boys had a beer, jump in and do some more snorkeling. And this was our day. It was just heaven. And every now and then I would just kind of do a little bit of a reel. I would just do a little bit of a video. And there was one video I took. At first I'm like, I'm just in my bikinis, sitting on the ski, towel wrapped around me. I've got like little goggle marks on my forehead from snorkeling for hours. My freckles are highlighted because I'm out in the sun and the water. But it was just a beautiful moment. Pulled out my phone, just captured this gorgeous moment about what, the colors of the water, just what we were doing to share with my community or my family back home, whatever I want to do with it. Captured in the moment, shared it, and one of my clients messaged me because I didn't care. I'm like, this is where I am. This is what I'm doing. This is just me. Like, I'm just filming it, recording it, chuck it up on socials, whatever. That's just kind of how I roll. And one of my clients messaged me and she said, oh my God, like you look so bloody gorgeous. Are they sea folly bikinis? Whatever. We've had a little bit of a chat. And in that moment, I felt so beautiful. I felt so present. I just felt naturally beautiful. I'm in my element. I'm snorkeling. I got wet hair, cap on, in my togs, sun on my skin, out in paradise with my husband and friends going, this is just epic. Loved every single moment of that. And I was just natural, just felt really naturally beautiful, naturally energetic, naturally vibrant, because I felt good in my energy. Heaps of people are kind of, flick me messages going, that looks amazing. Like really, really nice messages. Friends, like we kind of took a few photos of each other, etc., etc. And then like when we got back home and we were kind of going through the photos, there's a photo on there. I'm sitting on the ski with Tom, literally just got out of the water. My cap's kind of half on, half off. It's kind of bulging up the top of my head, so I didn't have it on properly. And I've got a stupid look on my face because I wasn't quite smiling. And it was one of the guys that took a photo, and guys they're not good photographers anyway at the best of times. Anyway, Riley's flicking through the photos and she gets to that one. She goes, oh, because it was beautiful. Like it was me and Tom with all this beautiful water and everything, sitting on the ski in the background. And Riley goes, oh, Mum, you look a bit special in that photo. God love the kids, right? And I had actually thought that myself. I went, that is a terrible photo. So then what happens is we get in as women, we can have these beautiful moments. We can have these amazing memories with our family, these moments of ourselves, with ourselves, these precious times doing incredible things that we just feel so good. We feel so happy. And then we look back at photos and we judge ourselves. We criticize ourselves. We go, I look fat in that because I've looked at that photo and gone, my hat looks stupid. My mouth's wonky. I'm sitting on the ski so you can kind of see like your rolls of your body in your bikinis. And going, Tom looks good. The surroundings around me look good. I look like shit. And then it reminded me like this morning when I was pulled out that reel, looked back at the reel, looked at the beauty of that moment. I was reflecting on the beauty of the moments that we had in 1770 and how in those times, we feel so good. Our energy's heightened. We might feel beautiful in what we're wearing or how we're presenting or the time that we're having with our family or the meal that we're having or the adventure that we're having. We feel so good. We feel happy. We feel at peace, like we loved that moment. And then what do women do? We criticize ourselves when we look back at the photo, or we look back at the content, or we look back at the video, or we look back at the reel. Our energy then shifts. Our energy then shifts into this state of judgment, this state of criticism, this state of looking at flaws, this state of, oh, I wish I had a better photo. I hate looking at myself in photos. I always look, fat in photos. That woman or my daughter or my husband or so-and-so, they always look great. Every time you see them in photos, they look great. I look disgusting and I hate seeing photos of myself. And so we sit in this energy of lack. We sit in this energy of judgment or criticism, and notice how it feels in your body. Your body all of a sudden goes to, maybe I'm not that, maybe I don't love myself. Maybe I am ugly. Maybe I am not worthy enough. Maybe I am not pretty enough. Maybe I am. And we fill our mind with so much criticism, hate, judgment, all of these awful things, which are the opposite of what our soul wants us to feel, which is light, love, abundance. And I believe like there's kind of those two energies. It's light or darkness, or love or fear, or abundance or lack. And when you're in these moments, what do you feel? It could be, maybe a small amount of time, whether it's a day, whether it's an hour or an encounter that you capture. In the moment, you feel the love, you feel the light, you feel the excitement, you feel the happiness, you feel so abundant, you feel just so much joy. Then we can look back and then we sit in longer amounts of time in the darkness, in the judgment, in the self-doubt, in the criticism, in the flaws, in the hating ourselves, in the judging ourselves, in the not liking ourselves. And what happens is your energy is like a magnet. Your energy, your thought attracts the next thought, and that attracts the next thought, and that attracts the next thought when you get in your head. When you're in the moment, when you really immerse yourselves in moments. So whether it's, enjoying time with family and what you're doing, you are so immersed in the moment. You may be immersed in other people. So like whether it's your children, whether it's your partner, whether it's your friends, the people that you're with, you're so immersed in those moments with them that you're not actually in your head thinking. You are enjoying the presence of that moment. You're enjoying the energy, just like I was out snorkeling, enjoying the water, enjoying just getting lost in the snorkeling, lost in the fish, lost in the floating on my back in the ocean, lost in that time with my lover, lost in that time of feeling like the sun, watching the sparkles on the water, immersed in so much love and beauty and this energy of abundance. Flip it. You go back, you look at photos, you find the faults, you then go in, your mind takes over. So you're out of that moment, and then the head starts kicking in, the mind starts kicking in, the thoughts start kicking in about all of those negative beliefs or all of those negative things that you're looking at yourself. And that is when one thought then attracts another thought, then attracts another thought. And these thoughts keep compiling, they keep drawing in like a magnet. To all of a sudden, what happens is our energy shifts from, we were feeling great in that moment, we were loving on it, to now, fast forward in the future, you're just feeling awful. You're lowering your vibration. You're going from light and love down to whatever it is, negativity, judgment, criticism, fear, finding the faults. Your vibration lowers. And what I want you to understand is your energy in your moment right now creates your future. So the energy that you're sitting in, the feelings that you're sitting in these moments, in every moment of your life, creates your future, creates what is coming. So if you spend more time in the lack, in the doubt, in the judgment, the criticism, the finding the faults, the looking at all the things going wrong, you attract more of that lower vibrational frequency. So maybe you get more evidence that comes through of where you don't feel beautiful. Maybe you might see more evidence of more, people criticizing you or finding faults because you're finding it in yourself first. Then maybe more things can go wrong for you, or you start to doubt yourself and you judge yourself. So then it impacts your relationships that you're having. It impacts what your children pick up on. It might impact that job opportunity that you're going to because you're sitting in the thought or the energy of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. What you feel reflects, it projects out, it radiates out into the world, which affects what you bring in, which affects the lover, it affects the relationship, it affects how you show up in your marriage, it affects your role as a parent, it affects friendships, it affects the money and abundance that you draw in, because you might feel, I'm not good enough to, start the business, to get the job opportunity, to have more money, because you're pushing things away from you when you come from these states of lack. So this is just a really small example of the things that we do as women. We judge ourselves, we criticize ourselves. Our thoughts naturally go to what is wrong, what is negative, what we don't like about ourselves. And we have to work hard at putting the good stuff in, and we have to work. It's not even hard. It's about having the awareness of, how am I feeling? Do I want to feel that way? Or can I shift it? Can I change it? Can I feel, I don't want to feel like that anymore. I don't want to keep judging myself. I don't want to hate myself for the rest of my life. I don't want to criticize myself. I want to feel at peace being me. I just want to authentically be me and just show up as myself. I even had an example. I popped a reel up the other day. I was sitting down on the jetty. I just recorded a podcast. I'd recorded a coaching video. And in between, I just popped the phone up and I just recorded a little bit of me because this is what I was doing. I was just sitting there reflecting, calling on source guidance to come through me to then go into my next coaching video. And as I'm sitting out there, I thought to myself, I'm just going to grab a little snippet of this, pop my phone, it was already there, hit record, and just record a little bit of just what I was kind of doing. And then I shared it, and I shared it with a story I shared it on a reel with how I used to think that I was doing the wrong thing because I was podcasting like I am now, just at home, because most people would go and record in a podcast studio. Most people would have everything professionally set up. Most people would batch content, write content, and then go and share it. Most people, as a business owner, like everything that there's a lot of curated stuff on their social media platforms. They're worried about aesthetics, they're worried about followers, they're worried about how things present. And I started to think to myself, is there something wrong with me? Because I'm not really that invested in how much followers I have. As long as they're real and they're my real community, that's all I'm worried about. And I'm not really too concerned that I like recording at home because my intuition is strong. It might be heightened first thing in the morning. I want to capture the inspiration, the message that comes through and share it just like I am right now. I had this kind of moment in meditation I want to share with you guys. Am I doing something wrong as a business owner? Because what do? We compare to other people. We compare to how other people present. We compare to what other people do. We compare to what other people do in our workplace, what other family members do, what other business owners do, that I just went, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to stick this reel up and just be honest and vulnerable and feel like, I felt like I was doing something. I wasn't doing the right thing because I wasn't doing what everybody else does. But for me, it felt right. For me, it felt like I was living in alignment with my purpose because I started to feel into what's more important, the aesthetics of what I'm putting up, the following that I have, the perfectly curated content on social media, or the message that I'm getting across, or the women that I'm impacting, or the people that message me saying, I look forward to your podcast every Monday, or gee, your podcast shifted this in me, or your retreat has found something that felt like I was missing, and I've never felt a place where I could feel at home. I've finally fallen in love with moving my body since I started Earthy Angels, and I look at myself differently. You taught me to love on my body. I remember when I first come in, I could not find one thing I was grateful for about me. Now I have a list of things that I like. Thank you. So I started thinking about all of that and going, the impact, like the message, showing up authentically, showing up vulnerably, that is more important to me than having perfectly curated content. That is more important to me is in those moments than how I might look on social media or how I might present in a photo or how I might show up on a reel like I was, in my bikinis with my snorkel imprint, my goggle imprint in my head, freckles highlighted, hair messy. Like that moment was real and we captured that. And that's the most important thing, girls, is that we sit in the energy of what we are feeling in the moment and sit in that energy of love, of showing up authentically, of embracing moments with our family, of embracing moments out doing the adventures or the experiences or the things that we love, or we embrace the moments of how we show up in our work or in our purpose or in our business or as a mother or as a friend or what we're meant to do in our purpose for our lifetime. That is more important than what we look like in those seconds of photos. And when you can sit in the energy more and more of service and giving, of showing up, and the energy of those beautiful moments as opposed to the energy of the dissatisfaction or the lack or what's wrong with us, the more you bring you want to start with awareness. Have awareness of how you're feeling or what you're noticing, the thoughts that are coming in. Just like I noticed when Riley said those things to me, and that's just what kids do every now and then. It's fine. I didn't take anything. She's fine. And I had to say to her, I said, Riley, I know it doesn't look that great. I look a bit of a mess, but that was the most incredible day. And when I look back on those photos, I am going to remember that was just a moment in time where we had the most epic adventure. And I'm with your dad and we loved every moment of it. It does not have to be perfect. I was telling her and I was reminding myself. And all of this was coming up just before I'm about to go to Bali because I started reflecting on it this morning and I started thinking that for me to level up again, for me to grow again, for me, this was a little moment of healing that I am then going to, whether I do it in Bali or I did it in the moment, just then, but for me to go on to that next, just to grow, okay? You don't even have to use the word next level, next phase, just to grow and just to accept ourselves moment to moment, accept the woman that we are. The healing can come it can be through therapy, it can be through courses or podcasts or, healing sessions that you do, but the healing can come or the growth that can come or the revelation can come in those little moments that I just had this morning. I captured myself in the moment. I thought about how I was showing up and I thought, Lise, you don't want to keep doing this to yourself. What is the fun in that? for the rest of your life, because we can get stuck as women. Like, I'm pushing 48 in 5 months, right? We can get stuck as women in judging. Our bodies change all the time. If we compare ourselves to photos of what they look like in our 20s or in our 30s, we're going to constantly feel inadequate. We're going to constantly feel dissatisfied. We're going to constantly feel not good enough, because we just have to accept that our bodies change. Like, I'm starting to learn to embrace my curves a lot more, because my body is just changing. I still look after myself. I still take care of myself. I still eat relatively well. I still move my body. I still do the practices and rituals that I share. And I feel good for a 47-year-old woman. I feel healthy. I feel energetic. I feel really, really good. My body's changed since my 20s. And I thought to myself a few years ago, in your 20s, we might look at photos and judge and criticize and go, I wish I looked like I did when I was in my teen years. In your 30s, after maybe you've had a baby or some babies, you look back and go, gee, my body looked better pre-babies. Then in your 40s, you kind of go, your body starts changing a little bit more. You might go through perimenopause, starting to go through menopause in your 40s and 50s. And then you think, gee, my body looked better back in my 30s. We're going to constantly feel inadequate. We're going to constantly feel, I looked better then. So I started thinking, how I feel now, I'm going to look into my 50s and 60s and go, gee, that 47-year-old version of me looked great. So why don't I feel great in her now? Why don't I love and accept on her now, instead of getting to my later on in life, 10 years down the track, and going, gee, I look great then. Like, let's just accept ourselves for where we are now and embrace the moments, embrace how we feel, because loving on yourself, accepting yourself, it's an energy, like it's a feeling. It's how you show up and how you feel in yourself. And when you do a lot more of the inner soul and spiritual work, you start to look at yourself through the eyes of more of a soul, of a spiritual being. It takes away all of the just the humanness. Just looking at our body as a physical, we start to look at ourselves through the eyes of more love, the eyes of more acceptance, the eyes of, let's just say, through the eyes of God, the eyes of Source, because we start to understand we're this spiritual being having a human experience. We're this kind of merging, like this bringing together of soul and physical, going through, navigating through life, making our way through life. So if I can look at myself through the eyes of my soul, through the eyes of the energy that I bring to the light and love that I bring to the world and to my family and to my loved ones, if I can start seeing and coming from a place of more of service and capturing real and authentic moments and sharing that with people, that is going to be more empowering than getting stuck in the judgment, stuck in the criticism, just stuck in the superficiality of just our physical body. And the more you can come from this place of spirit, the more you dive deeper into doing the inner work, the more you start to accept yourself a little bit more. You start to accept the journey that you're on. You start to accept the phases that, like, your body goes through certain stages of life, through, pre-kids, kids, menopause. Like, our body is constantly changing. You start to look at different seasons, look at different cycles, and start to be a little bit more grateful for what your body did for you in those seasons and in those cycles, as opposed to constantly judging on it and criticizing it and finding the fault with it. So all of that was going through my mind this morning, and just having these revelations around how I was just looking at myself through a lens that I didn't want to continue looking at myself through. And I pulled a card. I want to share this card with you. And do you know what else is funny? Is I started writing in my journal this morning. I started writing about Bali. I started writing about how excited I am to go to Bali and what I need to release and heal when I go to Bali. And it wasn't until I started journaling on all of this that I actually realized what I'd been doing to myself, like the criticism that I'd been doing to myself, the unkind words that I'd been saying about myself. I started just writing it. It was just all started pouring out in my journal. So it wasn't until I started journaling that I all of this come to light. Journaling is a powerful revelation. So I'm writing all of this down. And let me share a little bit with you. I wrote down about how, let me take it back a page. I wrote down about, I noticed last week at 1770, I saw some photos and judged on myself. I had been feeling a bit bloated, fat, criticizing myself as I stepped into my late 40s, noticing my body change. But in the moments at 1770, I felt so beautiful. I felt proud of myself. I was loving my body. I was adventurous. I was playful as we rode bikes around, explored the jet ski. I felt beautiful in my bikinis. I felt beautiful as I rode my bike with my feminine flowing skirt. But the moment I saw a picture, I felt awful. I had clients message me from my story I shared, and I spoke about that earlier, And in the moment I took that video, I felt happy, I felt radiant on the ski with my soul mate Tom, and we're out in paradise. And I realized this morning is that it's in the moments that count, not the stills that are captured on an image. It's how I felt in that moment. It's the energy I was radiating. It's in the magic of the moment that's true, that's real, that's powerful. Then I noticed how I compared that to the energy I felt and radiated when I looked back at the photo. And in that present moment, the present moment I was looking at the photo, as I was observing the photo, my energy shifted. My energy shifted to judgment, to lack, to criticism, to embarrassment, not the energies I want to feel anymore. I have the power to make a choice of what I allow myself to feel and to emit. As I look back at the reel that Sammy shared from my Reiki reel, I felt and I saw pure unconditional love for myself, unconditional love for her, and unconditional love for the sacred energy of Reiki and what I was receiving that day. I looked at myself as a soul being here on the earth with a mission. I realized from now on, I need to look at myself with more love and kindness and embody the energies of the moment. Love, appreciation for my healthy, beautiful body. I wrote in capitals, no more judgment, no more lack, no more criticism. For me to be the powerful leader I'm meant to be and impact the world, I need to feel this feeling of love in my body and in my heart for myself, so I can teach other women, and most importantly, Riley Brock and my family, the real value of life. Thank you for this revelation before I go to Bali, where I can even more immerse myself in healing it and clearing it. Then I pulled this card. So it was more when I started journaling, the revelation started coming up. So everything that I'm sharing with you now, it didn't hit me until straight away. It wasn't until I started writing in my journal that I realized what I'd been doing. Then I pulled this card out of my Lightworker Oracle deck, the Pink Rose of Lady Nada. The card says you're in the midst of a heart healing, a healing of the fears and anxieties that have held you back from enjoying your full magnificence. Lady Nada is here in all her gentle power, washing you in a soft pink light. All anger, fear, sadness, bitterness, disappointment, and hurt are soothed and loved into peace. She brings you a sign of your future blossoming into deeper love. The Pink Rose of Lady Nada is a spiritual gift from higher guidance. It brings light, love, healing, strength, and compassion to your heart. You may be feeling, and it goes on to talk about all the feelings, your pain will pass, because this is a form of suffering. This is a form of pain. This is a form of suffering that we do to ourselves as women, girls. We suffer because we're not in our magnificence. We suffer because we're not blossoming into our fullness. We suffer because we're keeping ourselves small. We suffer because we're criticizing ourselves and we're not feeling good enough. We're not feeling worthy enough. We bring it on ourselves, because if you look at your family, you look at your children, you look at people that you love, you look at people in other photos, you see them through the eyes of love. You see them through pure perfection, but what you see in yourself is different. And that's the suffering that we cause on ourselves that we need to change. You need to, one, be aware of it, and then two, we need to start making some changes towards it. And what I did this morning through my awareness, through my journaling, through my card pulling, through the meditation that I did after, I'll just tell you a little bit about that. It was a form of helping me realize this and helping me heal this and helping me clear this. Is it going to come up again? Yes, probably will, but it won't be as intense. And I'm going to be more aware of it. And I'm going to catch myself and I'm going to pivot. I'm going to change it. I'm going to shift it. And that is exactly what you are going to do as well. This card says, I'll go back to the card, the Pink Rose of Lady Nada unfolds as an energetic shift, gently pulsing with love and beauty within your heart chakra. It brings you comfortable, gentle emanations of divine love and reassurance that you are so wonderful just as you are. Lady Nada is saying how much I like you, dear child of light, how deeply I love you. I send you love and acceptance to you now so that you may come to love and like yourself with all the compassion, kindness, and unconditionality I feel for you. So I read that card. I read this little invocation at the end, which is like a little prayer. The prayer says, I gratefully receive the rose light, the blessing of Lady Nada in unconditional love. My heart softens and opens. The pink light of her rose blessings fill me with sweet perfume. I let go. I feel safe and held. I know that I am loved always. I'm grateful now and always for love's protection, intervention, guiding hand, and tenderness, grace in my life in all ways. May I know myself to be worthy of love and love myself truly so that I can truly and freely give love to others and to the world. May all beings truly know love through my own free will, so be it. So from there, I read that. I laid down on my lounge out the back. I put the card on my heart and I popped on a meditation playlist that I've got. And I just laid down and I just breathed into this feeling of love. I imagined that I just let my mind go where it goes. My soul will take me. And it took me to a scene in a waterfall. And I was like sitting on this rock under the waterfall. And all I saw was those feelings of what I was feeling, the not good feelings. And I let them go and I kind of released them. And I visioned them going into like little doors, like that feeling of judgment. Put in a door, shut the door, lock it. All these feelings went into doors. Then I felt myself like rise up a little bit further to a higher rock on the waterfall. And as I'm doing that, I felt like this pink rose light. I felt like a rose. I saw a vision of a rose in my heart and this pink light kind of shining into my heart and all around me. And I started to just feel love. I just saw people that I love, family that I loved. And I reminisced on those beautiful moments of love. And I asked to let go of those feelings that I'd been feeling and to see myself through more unconditional love. Just as the soul that I am, the beautiful, radiant woman that I am, that you are, I ask to see myself more through that. God, source, universe, please help me see myself through the eyes of more love and catch me when I'm coming from a place of lack. Then in my meditation, I saw myself rise up higher to the top of the waterfall, sitting up the top, overlooking all of the land. And I saw all of these new doors up above. And I just started to feel into how I want to feel, how I want to see myself. And I just felt like I was surrounded in this beautiful pink light of love and acceptance. And that was it. Like that was the steps that my soul took me on through meditation. So I wanted to share that with you to, I guess, help you, one, catch yourself when you're feeling those feelings of judgment or not feeling good enough, to remind you, do you want to sit in the moments of where you took the photograph? Do you want to sit in those moments of remembering those beautiful times? The energy of that, the energy of joy, of love, of perfection, of peace, of excitement, of happiness? Or do you want to sit in the energy of constantly judging and criticizing yourself? So you're going to sit in both. We all do. It's a human part of us. You're going to sit in both. But then what I want you to do moving forward is catch yourself when you're feeling those things. And then how can I get myself out of it? So it could be through, gratitude. What am I grateful for about me? How have I shown up and served other people? How has maybe someone in my family or somebody that I love complimented me? Think about those energies where you feel good. Maybe where you've, do something to make yourself feel nice, to have a little bit of self-care. You can journal on it. You can pull out your journal and just let your pen start taking over and journal on the reflection that you've had, the awareness, because it's amazing how I've had so many community members tell me, especially my coaching program, when I start journaling, that's when I realize what I need work on. And that's where I get the healing. And that's when I notice what I need to dive into a little bit deeper is in those moments of journaling. So you can journal on it. You can use angel cards. You can sit in meditation, whether it's a meditation that you do yourself, whether it's coming to the studio and just feeling how you need to feel and doing a nice, beautiful restorative yoga class and just taking that moment of meditation. It could be a guided meditation. But using those tools to help you go back to that angels framework. A, awareness, be aware of what you're doing, nourish yourself. What can I do to feel good? What can I do? G, to connect in with my guidance, connect in with source, whether it's the meditation, whether it's the angel cards, whether it's sitting out in nature, whether it's just asking for your soul to help, shift what's coming up in you. asked to help give you some affirmations, asked to help give you some gratitude. Check in with your guidance, like what is going on. Check in with your energy. How are you feeling in your energy? Knowing that the energy that you put out is going to bring more back to you of how you are feeling. How can I shift my energy? I shifted my energy through meditation. I shifted my energy through gratitude, through the visualization that I went through the card that I pulled. I noticed how it changes my energy, and I decided to come from more of the energy of love, which is L, A-N-G-L-S. L, coming from that place of love for myself, seeing more love and beauty in other women, seeing more love in the beautiful woman that I am, seeing more of my spirit as opposed to just my physical body. What am I grateful for? What do I love about my body? How can I have more compassion and softness and kindness towards myself? So coming from that energy of love, the way you love your child, the way you love your partner, the way you love other people, looking at that and bringing it back to yourself. And then S, surrender. I just surrendered into the meditation. I surrendered into my journaling. I surrendered into, you know what? Fuck it. This is who I am. Like, this is who I am. I am just going to be her. I am just going to accept her. And I'm just going to show up the way that I am and just surrender into, this is me, the 47-year-old woman. This is who I am. This is how my body is. I'm just going to start loving on her and accepting her and just surrender into, there is more to life than ourselves. There is more to life than just critiquing ourselves, judging on ourselves, looking at all of our faults and all the things that are wrong for us. When you give more of a place of service, when you give more love, surrendering to receiving, opening yourself up to receive, surrendering to receiving love, receiving compliments, receiving the beautiful things that people say to you, surrendering into those moments of beauty, surrendering into life itself, surrendering into your soul, out of your head and into your soul. That's just a little process that I wanted to share with you guys that has helped me, that I know that will help you, because I have so many women that say this to me. I have women that say it to me, I hate looking at myself in photos. I'm always judging on myself. How can I stop criticizing myself? How can I accept myself? Girls, it's a process. You're not just going to get it. Like, I thought I was in a good place, then all of this come up for me again. It's something, but I don't stay there, right? We get better at it. We get more accepting of ourselves when we go on this little bit of an inner journey, when we do the inner healing work, when we show up to classes. All the things that I go through in my podcast is just tools, spiritual tools that are going to help you along this journey to get you closer to return home to who you are, that beautiful soul that you need to see yourself as, that beautiful soul through the eyes of love, through the eyes of compassion, just like I see in you and just like your family members see in you. I hope that has kind of left you with something to capture yourself when you have moments like I did, to just capture yourself and help you work through it. I hope that helps you, angels. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next episode. So much love to you. Bye.